Hey everyone, it's David here. Today we will be making a classic birthday cake, so let's get started. Where we're going to butter 2 8-inch cake pans, and then we're going to add some parchment paper to line the bottom of each. Next we'll add flour to our pans, just a little bit, so that we can flour the edges of the pan to prevent sticking. Just tap your pan a little bit until all the flour comes around. Normally I would do this in a sink, but just to show you, this is what it looks like. Next, using a sifter or a mesh strainer, sift 2 cups of cake flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. This will ensure no lumps and also a damn fine crumb. Alright, now let's grab our sugar and our salt, and also let's grab our cake flour mixture that we had just sifted and pour that into our stand mixer bowl. Now we're adding a 1/2 teaspoon of fine sea salt. You could also use table salt. And now we're adding 1 1/4 cups of sugar. We're practicing the reverse creaming method, so that's why we're adding our dry ingredients first into our stand mixer bowl. So let's start on medium-low speed for a few seconds to mix the dry ingredients together. And then 1 tablespoon at a time, we're going to add 6 tablespoons in all of unsalted butter to our recipe. As the butter is being added, it's going to break down and get coated with flour until you have essentially a sandy looking mixture. You can see here that it still needs some time to break down, so we're going to add our last tablespoon and have it continue mixing while we move on to our wet ingredients. Now we have 3 eggs and 1/4 cup of canola oil. We have a tablespoon of vanilla paste, or you can use vanilla extract. And now we have 6 tablespoons of sour cream, and now give that a whisk until it's nice and homogeneous. And as you can see, there's now a sandy texture with our dry ingredients, so it's time to add in our egg mixture. So we're going to add a slow stream into the mixture while the mixer is on low speed until the mixture is completely incorporated. We're going to repeat the process with 3/4 cup of milk, which conveniently my camera died right when I was pouring. Now once it's incorporated, use a rubber spatula to finish stirring in any remaining little bits, and then pour it evenly into your 2 cake pans, using a scale if you have one to help with making sure they're even. Give them a quick jiggle and put them in the oven for about 30 minutes. To tell if they're ready, you can press your finger into the centers just slightly, and if they spring back, they are done. Otherwise, the edges pull away from the side of the cake pan, or you can use a cake tester. After about 10 minutes of cooling, flip them onto a cooling rack to finish cooling before you move on to frosting them. Once the cakes are cool, it's time to start the frosting. That's 2 tablespoons of shortening and 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted together, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 cup of cocoa. Now let's whisk that together and allow the heat from the melted butter and shortening to bloom the chocolate. Now let's add 1 tablespoon of corn syrup and 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla paste, or you can use vanilla extract here as well. And while you are stirring, add 1/3 cup of milk and continue to stir until fully combined. Now we're going to add 3 1/2 cups of confectioner sugar, and we're going to want to add a cup at a time as to not overload this mixture and then have a big powdery mess everywhere. So add a cup at a time, incorporate, add a little bit more, incorporate. If you find the mixture is getting a little too tough to work with, add a tablespoon or more of milk until you reach a desired consistency. The goal is to make sure you're including all the sugar just for the sheer volume of it, and from there you can really dial in that consistency. So depending on the surface you're going to lay your cake layers on, let's add a little bit of frosting just to hold them in place. Next, we're going to add the first cake layer and top it with about 1/3 of the amount of frosting, spreading that evenly across the top. We're going to add the second layer and top that with another 1/3 of the frosting, smooth that evenly across the top. Use an offset spatula or rubber spatula to apply frosting to the sides of the cake. And use your offset spatula or your cake scraper to smooth out the frosting on the sides and also smooth it out on the top. At this point, decorate to your heart's desire. I like to add classic birthday sprinkles up the sides about halfway just for the added contrast. You can certainly frost around that, do whatever design you want. I don't care, it's your life. I hope you enjoy this cake as much as I do. This is super classic, it's delicious, it is the finest crumb around, and it is giving me all the feels. I hope it gives you all the feels as well. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my page, and I hope to see you soon.